guess I can.
Happy New Year, everyone. So our panel discussion is gonna start pretty soon. Thank you all for coming. Hope you guys grab some food and drinks. And then yeah, please feel free to grab a seat here. We're probably gonna kick off the panel in about 5 to 10 minutes.
Common?
And also, if you see a QR code around, we have a Telegram group for all the participants to connect after the fact. So just scan the QR code and then, yeah, we'll all be there. All right, I think we're going to get started very soon. So, panelists here, and yeah, for our audience, feel free to grab a seat here, continue to drink. Yeah, it'll be a nice, chill night of discussions about identities and just getting to know folks and builders.
We're not allowed to talk about. Okay. Sure. What? Um. So yeah.
More people are actually just coming in. Hey, 你先坐着来，你先坐着。你这个真的是手足无措。我就把我那厚的衣服给穿上了。
Yeah, sure. Let me see.
I think we're about to start the panel talk today. Like, not panel talk, panel discussion today, like very soon. So just grab some food and drink and then take a seat, please. Yeah. So
Well, I mean, the questions are designed to be more broad. Stuff that I would want to emphasize in some we're gonna get started soon.
Oh yeah. Actually, if you guys see any like QR code here, I don't know where, but yeah, I think it's on the table. So yeah, you guys can just scan the QR code and then enter the Telegram group. We got just enter the group there. So yeah, I think we can start in 2 minutes at 7:30.
Yeah, good.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
I feel like we should have like played some music. That was just awkward.
Oh okay. Oh yeah. I can't rap, so. Can rap. I can't. I don't. You can. You
Do
can.
you want to tell jokes?
Oh. Stand up comedy. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. I got a lot of great jokes. but I'll just like leave it later. No, like my jokes are kind of like awkward. So. Dad jokes? Yeah, I can do anything. I can do nothing else but dad jokes. Oh wow. So like before started, like I'm kind of curious, like how did you guys like hear about this event? Because yeah, I think we posted in many like Telegram groups or other like I'm not sure like discussion groups anywhere. But I'm just curious, like how did you guys like specifically know this event? Because like yeah, well, because we're planning to like host more events like this in the future. So that would be super helpful. So if you guys can, yeah, just feel free to share with us.
Even bright?
Oh, even bright? Wow, that's good one.
Anyone else?
Anyone? Oh wow, that's helpful. And did you like? Are any of you guys like from like the Satoshi Square Telegram group or like I think we got like DeFi Bangkok group. So yeah, if you guys are interested, we can definitely just share those groups with you guys. Because like yeah, I think yeah, those are pretty legit like blockchain and Web3 related group here. So and yeah, I think we're getting started. So yeah, guys, just please get seated, and we are about to start. So yeah, this is my first time, being a moderator. Yeah. Also another question. So, so how many of you guys are like working in like this like? Oh yeah, working in this like Web3 or like blockchain related industry? Oh wow, quite a. Oh, all right. Thank you so much.
Definitely I am.
Just curious. Is it really working? Okay.
It is working.
Yeah, okay. On and off, but yeah. So, I guess we can get started. But before getting started, I know, yeah, it's awkward. But yeah, please introduce yourself first. My name is Cici, and I'm a co-founder of CTO at Mask. I'm not sure if you guys know Mask Network, but yeah, thanks so much. Thanks. Oh yes. And we just started another like project, not another one, but it's just internally, project called NextID. We just put our the core infrastructure, like core identity infrastructure out of the main mass network to be a kind of a standalone project. And we're working on how identities or specifically decentralized identities can better help people or developers gain more rights, gain more data ownership, privacy on the in the cyberspace. So yeah, go ahead, please. I think we can get started from Kai. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kai, and well, I guess that's the part about the identity part. So yeah, I used to work in Web2. So back in 2015, I worked in a Chinese startup called Little Red Book, 小红书, and that's social community back then. After that, I've been working on different social apps and in social startups. I think early last year, I started the identity project, the ID project back in Shanghai with a friend of mine from from my master. So that's how I got into this identity jungle and started everything. I guess that's it.
Hey guys, my name is Vincent. So I got into crypto back in 2015 as a OTC trader from Australia. So back in the days, Bitcoin to Australian dollars, Chinese yuan to Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, so after 2017, 18, ICO hit and everyone's kind of getting maniac, and I was serving as one of the advisors of one of the will-be listed project. I got a rocket personally by the project. Then I kind of like I helped a few more projects and got a record more. So I kind of like trying to like Australia is fairly isolated, small piece of the world, right? So I was trying to get to know more about why I got record so much. So I kind of like moved it into to Southeast Asia, like traveling around and working around. Also get to know the back in the days the Chinese crypto circle. I also like spent 1 year in Vietnam working on my fiat crypto exchange. So basically got the chance to know a lot of the like the dark side of the crypto stuff. But anyway, yeah. So for now, I'm serving as the partner of AC Capital. So we started back in 2018 as a crypto media. Was previously the Binance Info team, and we started investing in crypto projects starting from 2020. So we are actually super interested in any kind of end user facing projects. From like a DID is definitely one of them, and also the bridge onboarding services for Web2 to Web3, any kind of like a gateway, innovative kind of a wallet solution, so on and so forth. Yeah, so glad to be here and sharing my ideas with you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, guys. This is Max. I'm here today. It's really an honor to be here today. I just introduced myself. I started to work in a nation-owned company, and later on, I quit my job and had a 1 year gap and moved to Apple. That is where that I get into crypto, because back in 2017, I was trading stock, and when you get to Apple, you got an Apple Watch for free. And I just it makes me anxious about the stock market. So I just checking the stock market all the time on my watch, and my colleague saw me, and he is like, "What the shit are you trading? This is look so terrible." I said, "I'm trading stock." He said, "You should try Litecoin," and I just think all of this are a scam, and Bitcoin is like too pricey for beginners. So I went to the Dogecoin. In 2 weeks, I made 18 times. That is when I think about why the hell am I here? But actually, I still stay because they got me a nice apartment to live where people clean my stuff every day, and I got breakfast every day. So I didn't leave, but I just took a lot of sick leave and just try to trade it. Over the time, it was really, really great. I think I am the chosen one because whatever the investment I made, it's gonna hike to the top. So I'm thinking I'm chosen one and thinking to browse online for purchasing an island in Indonesia, something like that. And then boom, I got nothing. And so I went to work. I finding a job in a centralized exchange. That is when I got to Thailand. We applied for the license, but got involved to some shareholder stuff in Thailand. 51% of the Thai shareholder. So it didn't went well, but I kind of like Thailand, so I decided to stay here. And I gap again for another 2 years until 2020, and I'm just trading DeFi and build something. Just a simple tooling, but we got a coverage of over 3.5 million of users. And we're thinking to bring some more use cases to not just providing a free tooling, because the server bill is quite a lot. So we went to talk with the venture capital, and they give me some suggestions. So Jump Crypto is the first, they are the first bunch that invested us. Later on, we just discover more functionality in our project. So actually, our project is not just about the decentralized identity. It actually have like 4 to 5 parts that we are building. We have already built 3 of it, and there are like 2 to 3 ready to be developed. This is how it got me into crypto, and so far I like it. So the life is like full of unexpected stuff. And today, until today, I know Hannah is actually study in Boston. Yeah, maybe same year, but she went to a way better university than me. So well, for you guys who might doesn't know, she studied in where Harvard. I think it's Harvard, right? Okay, I'll pass it to you.
thank you, Max. But you're the alpha, you know. We're gonna keep following what you're doing. So yeah, thank you for teasing me up. My name is Hannah Shen. I am a founding member and product marketing lead at NextID. So I'm supposed to be a host today, but Issa decided that he wanted to moderate. So I'll share more about what we built with NextID and like my thoughts on DID later in the panel discussion. Quick thing on NextID. So like the 30-second spiel is where decentralized identity aggregation protocol, allowing like users to be able to verify their identities across Web 2 and Web 3 while giving like data ownership back to the users. So right now on top of it, we have like different social applications using us to for like identity graph and identity verification. So that's all NextID. A little bit about myself and how I got into the space. So prior to starting building in Web3 in the social and identity infrastructure space, I was working on like multiple startups in the Bay Area, also focused on social. So my previous startups were focused on creator economy, invested by Andreessen Horowitz. So that's how I started looking more into like how Web3 can like enable more creators and like allowing them to like own their assets better. Also, I studied at Harvard for my undergrad in political science. Studied poli-sci, and then so I'm also pretty involved with like DAO governance. I'm part of Masterman's investment DAO called Steel DAO, and I think overall, like seeing how technology, like all these decentralized movements, are affecting real-world politics is something initially got me very interested in crypto. Didn't have like that much like financial success in terms of Doge and all that, but that's fine. I'm like just as a product builder, very interested in seeing how we can attract more and more developers and also applications in the space, especially in a bear market. I think it's really time to build. I'm right now also running the MIT Bitcoin Expo, so I have some friends from MIT here today, so thank you for coming. Excited to give the mic back to Isu and let him kick off the questions.
Okay, actually, as Hannah said, like, she was supposed to be the moderator today, but took this like job, and then I'm actually like reading her like question list, but I think I'm not gonna like stick with that. So yeah, it's gonna be like a little bit spontaneous because I think that's like a better setup. I think the first question is really valuable on the concept around DID or decentralized identity, because for like someone who doesn't really know what DID is, like decentralized identity, but somehow like this kind of word is like tricky, like it's super vague. What does it mean like by like decentralizing your identity? So I want to start with this question. What is your take on like DID? Do you think it's a good name, or like what? Yeah, I mean, like, do you think like what is behind DID? Yeah, is that like a valid question today? Yeah.
Be confident, you're doing great.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, go ahead. So go ahead, please.
Well, yeah, just share some random thoughts. Identity has been there for long. Actually, we value it so important because that's kind of the basic infrastructure required in order to build any application I wanted. When last year our team was having this discussion about why we do this DID thing, we were thinking, since we come into this a new decentralized digital world, there should be something different with identity. There should be something. There should be something above the wallet address you have, but behind the decentralized application you're trying to use. It should not be a direct connection between the wallet address, which contains everything you have, your digital assets, your bank statement, your what kind of NFT you like, everything you have, you just showed up to a random decentralized app you don't know what it's about. So that's when we think about there should be an intermediate layer that protects your privacy while providing information necessary for the dev to provide value service for you. So I don't know if that's a good start, but from there, the definition extended to many different areas. It could be the domain name. It could be privacy preserving protocol. It could be some ZTP solution that tells certain information necessary to the data, but without direct control on your privacy data. So I think now the concept of DID becomes an umbrella that many different projects falls into it. So yeah, I'll see what other people think.
Cool, awesome. Yeah, so to me, I think this is basically like the other side of the coin. So on the other side of the coin of the DID idea would actually be like account, like centralized accounts, like any kind of account systems you have in the Web2 world, right? Anything like Facebook, Google, linking, whatever you have right now, right? So if you're talking about like a decentralized identification or ID, then basically you're talking about two things. First is a decentralized. Why decentralized actually matters is because if you look back at the Web2 account system, you would realize that the account was all generated in a centralized way, right? So like if you have like you apply for a Google Gmail account, right, and that would give you all the access to all the Google Suite kind of services, but that account actually owned by the Google server, right? It was generated by the Google server. It was controlled by the Google server, and basically, if they ban you, they can do it at a fingertip, right? So just like that. So decentralized ID, when we're talking about that, that must be if you generate a new ID, a new wallet address, you do it locally, right? You don't even need the internet, then you can generate a new wallet, and that is your ID. You just use whatever you generate to serve the Web3 or like interact with all kinds of like protocols and smart contracts. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think for the account system, then basically it needs to give you access, right, to something. So it cannot be just like I have it just a wallet, then it doesn't have any utility, right? At least like in a wallet, basically you would at least you have the balance. It can hold all your assets in that wallet. That's a basic function, right? For an account, in a centralized manner, basically an account would give you access to certain services that the centralized holder provides you with, right? Google give you all the Google Suite. Facebook give you all the Facebook services. Even if you have like a Salesforce, no matter that's a corporate account or just like a trial account or something like that, then they only give you that service. But for a decentralized one, you are expecting the interoperability. One account, one wallet address can give you access to all Web3 services, or as long as they are calling themselves like Web3, right? You can use that to sign in with Ethereum. The connected button doesn't have any border, doesn't have any boundaries. Then you can get the access to those services. I think this is basically what we pursue in the name of decentralized identification.
That's a good one. That was a good one. Okay, for me, it's actually pretty easy. It makes things easier for a user. Like right now, I can log into my Instagram with my Facebook account because they're basically the same company, but I cannot use it on my Netflix because they are not the same company. But if well, actually, I don't mind to create a new account for Netflix. But what if it's Twitter, like something? I've been active on Facebook since 2009, and now on Twitter, I got nothing. But I mean, in a decentralized world, or you can say in the Web3 world, the decentralized identity can be universally accessible to multiple applications. You can use your on-chain footprint to gain the benefits from a new product or from a new project that you are trying to use. This is what I think it's benefit the user. And the second thing is it protect your privacy and also give you a bunch of freedom that you can basically share talking without being banned by some centralized server just because they don't like the content that you created. Actually, that's in the Web 2 world. It also involved over time. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Couple of years earlier, it was not like this, like right now. But right now, we're even more strict. But later on, I mean, if we have a decentralized identity that is be able to work, that is will make things a lot easier. But there's another obstacle that we still need a standard. We still need a standard that is universally accessible. That we should thank to Ethereum. I mean, it's not just a token that you can trade, but it's actually creating some of the standard for other developers to build. This is why, I mean, I still got a hope on Solana because even though it's got into some inflammation stuff, I mean, inflation stuff, but I mean, this is still, it's still a good protocol, but yeah, we support 9-layer one and most of the EVM, but we don't support Solana right now because I still need to convince my developer. But later on, sooner or later, we will. I'll pass the microphone to Hannah.
Thank you, Max. I just always appreciate the teeing up. I think the other panelists covered a lot about the benefits of decentralized identity. I think just a quick add on to that. For those that are hearing the concept for the first time here today, or haven't been really focused on the ID space within Web3, decentralized identifier is one way to say it, but we also like to call it self-sovereign identity, and really at its core is users have control over their private key, their public address, and be able to verify, attest credentials among themselves without trusting a third party. So that's where we see truly from the value protection side. In the future, when users access services, authentication through DID or SSI is something that gives users a lot of freedom, and also it's safer compared to just connecting with wallet, which contains too much of your financial assets. If you can just attest who you are with an ID layer, that will be safer for a lot of users. It can also allow users to be able to add more information to who they are. I can verify that this Ethereum address, my ENS, is related to my Twitter account, my Discord account, and on top of it, from the value creation side, there could be reputation scoring built using DID methods, like DID protocol. Another thing is this isn't something new that the Web3 folks have invented. I went to DWeb camp in earlier last year, and people have been working on kind of self-sovereign identity for decades. And truly, I think what's new about Web3 is now we have so many different wallet addresses on blockchain, and it contains different on-chain behaviors across different ecosystem, and then DID is Web3 DID is a good way to connect kind of the on-chain world with the off-chain world, and that's something we're very, very actively working on through NextID.
Thank you so much for the answers. I think, sorry, this is a really spontaneous, random question, but I do like it. Because I think before building anything, we should probably just define the term we're building. So to make sure that we are really building something that we want, and that's users want, or that's valuable to everybody, is really, really important. But I guess you guys have mentioned the importance of making them decentralized, because all the centralized companies are controlling our identities, or it's not even identities, they're just accounts, right? It's just some database entries, and they can just control and manipulate anyhow they want. I think Hannah also mentions besides DID decentralized identity, we also have SSI, self-sovereign identity. So for all of these concepts, I think we probably need to make sure users know what's behind these concepts. That's super important. But I think they also mentioned privacy, security. I'm super curious about this. So like, a lot of like projects are like asking users to like connect their blockchain wallets with their social media accounts so that they can get some like benefits, which I don't know, like potentially that gets some token airdrops. But you guys also like mentioned you guys are like caring about like users' privacy, caring about like all these like security stuff. How can you just balance or like how can you enforce like users can get this like freedom or get this like rights or like privacy when they're like really using this like new concept DI? And yeah, that would be my question. Yeah, did you order? Yeah, we can change the order then. Anyone can.
I would say to me the short answer is we can't. We can't actually ensure they are going to get their freedom. Why the answer is that is because many of the people just don't care. Like it's a truth. Like it's a harsh truth, but it's really true. Like I remember that once said by the CEO of Baidu, one of the largest internet company in China, Robin Li. So he said that it's just very normal for people, actually many people, to trade off their freedom and privacy for convenience. This is not just limited to Chinese people. It's actually very, very prevalent all across the world. A lot of people are actually trading off their privacy for convenience. It's so thinking in this way. So everyone knows Maslow hierarchy, right? So people just have different priorities. Some of people are still struggling with their like daily life. How can I make a living? Some people are already wealthy enough to seek, like a further spiritual kind of, life quality kind of things. You can't just put one product and on the table and telling everyone, some of them having a low life, some of them having a high life, saying, okay, this is what I offer you, and I expect you to accept it whatsoever. It's not going to happen because people have different priority. People have different kind of need, right? For the people who have low life, you just can't expect them to care that much about their own data privacy, about being a sovereign individual, about their freedom of information or freedom of speech. They just don't care because they have 100 things more important than that. It's pathetically true. But for the other people who already live a high life, yes, they're definitely going to see, like everyone sitting here, you guys definitely care about your privacy, your freedom of speech and the freedom of information, right? It's just another level of thing. So to me, it's like two different questions putting on a table for the entire Web3 industry. One is a mass adoption. Then you have to handle people are living a low life, but you do wish them to enter the Web3 world, right? But just in a different way. Probably you are not promoting freedom of information, freedom of speech, or privacy because they don't care. Then put something they care about, drag them into this, make the Web3 like a norm, a new norm for them to use their internet. That's also going to be helpful, right? On the other side of the thing, right, for people who are already wealthy enough, they do care about this. Then you give them something like a decentralized ID, privacy network, ZK, this kind of things. They care. They be willing, like more than happy to pay money for that, even, right? So that's a way to do. So this is exactly the reason why we see so many projects are not done in the right way, but project like the Lens protocol, they have artificially built a barrier to entry for people to even enter the network. You have to get their handle, the Lens handle, to really join it. Why is that? If you have the handle, most likely you either getting early enough because you have the knowledge because of that, right? Or on the other side, you pay money to get the NFT to join that network. Either way, you are these kind of people who are living a high life, right? You care about these things, and these people are the intelligent class. So most of the cases, it will be the intelligent class leading, and the people who are living a low life following. So you got to first capture the role model, as in like the user position. Then you can pass on this kind of like social norm to the people who are living a low life. So I mean, there isn't like universal or super bullets for DID mass production. I would encourage like product teams to find their own way. Either way would definitely work.
That's a good one. That's a good one from Vincent. Some of the things that being as a project builder cannot say, but he is being a venture capital that he can say it. I thank him to that. Well, I will continue about this since what we are doing is actually requesting users to provide their cross-platform identity. But we did it in a way, we providing the incentive. Incentives are not provided by us, but provided by the project. So one of our product is called the Soul Quest. And it's like a quest platform to require users to do something like verify the user used to swap on Pancake Swap for maybe 200 times, and every time over $12, for example, you can customize. Or you can verify a user to join your Discord community, stay in the community call for at least 27 minutes. Something like that you can customize. With user doing that, the project who want to bootstrap the traffic on our platform, they will provide the incentive to the users. So we basically leveraging the incentive from the project, our partners, to giving out to the user in exchange for user to connect to the cross-platform identity. So we just put the choice to the user. If you want to do that, for sure you can do that. We also have a disclaimer, but it's not just that. We also have a data layer. Data layer is our final form of Port3. This is essentially what we are building, although it's pretty hard. I don't think any other project has built it up. We're thinking to publish it in quarter two this year. So the data layer is actually working like a pricing oracle, but it's for the social identity, or you can say profiling. Where we get those data source is actually different from the pricing oracle, because the data source is fully centralized. But we have the first time of the consensus happens in the aggregator. Aggregator you can understand as the validator of a pricing oracle. So each one of the validator, they are running the same mechanism. If anybody wanted to upgrade it, you can start a vote. So that would be the first time of the consensus. After the computing, those results will be getting into a place. It's called data market. It's ready to go, but over here, that each one of the aggregator cannot see others' result without providing their own result. So this is also copy the idea from the pricing oracle. Over here, the data will be ready to go in two ways, through the SDK and through the API. So SDK is for the on-chain data that is standardizable, and the off-chain data that is non-standardized. So this is kind of the way to prevent the data leakage or the privacy leakage, and we also giving out the choices to the users, but this is still the major concern for us for the users' privacy. We're also collaborating with a bunch of the privacy provider as our vendor, as our partner as well. So one of them is Automata Network. They are building the privacy protection layer, but it's I think you know, yeah, they've been running on Binance for 3 years already. They are doing is based on the hardware. There is nothing wrong about hardware, but for those decentralized nerd, it's the major mistake, because the hardware is provided by a centralized company like Intel or like AMD. So this is you are wrong since the beginning. So we have another partner. Another partner, they are building the privacy protection layer. It's actually a privacy enclave on the software, which I am not a techie guy, but I think they're doing this. So this is what we are going to use for protect the privacy of the user. And I think that's all of it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Max and Vincent for. Yeah, I don't have beer, but yeah, I think I see people like joining a bit later. So the question Lisa originally asked was how can we ensure with all the privacy protecting benefits of decentralized identity, but there's also comes with an entry barrier for users to adopt it, and then like what Vincent said, I think it's very much true. Like how do we get general end users to care? And also as builders, that's something we constantly think about, like how do we educate users? But I think in terms of DID's adoption and thinking about allowing more users to end users to enjoy the freedom of their data ownership through this technology, I would dissect into two parts. One is how DID can be a better service for builders, for developers to get on board and use this as, for example, a DID login authentication as an alternative or as an additional option to sign in with more centralized services. So essentially providing a gateway for more users to learn about what is DID and allow users to set up a DID for their services. And this, I think, really requires consensus from a lot of the applications that we're seeing in Web3 right now to adopt it as kind of the default ID management and login solution. And on the more so application side, why would end users care about DIDs, the DID-based applications? I think what Vincent mentioned in terms of Max mentioned about kind of encouraging users to verify themselves through DID, that could bring benefits such as better reputation building. You can have your own kind of credit score without relying on third party in the cyberspace. These are all things that we see that can incentivize users to care, not just from a moral high ground point of view. Oh, data privacy is so important, but it actually brings real benefits, and those are the things. Again, I think it's very important for application layer builders to think about what are the true needs of cyber citizens today that are not being fulfilled through centralized platforms.
Since you guys have mentioned about the privacy, actually I have a different perspective. When we ask this question, we actually have some pre-assumption about the value proposition we have for these identification of identity system is about privacy and the data ownership. But there is high likelihood the identity or the identity system is just a byproduct of an existing solution for some existing problem. And think about why we use Google as a login method, because we use Gmail. When everybody has Gmail, it's easy to think we can use Gmail as a login method. So it's highly likely we find a problem-oriented solution approach for this entire identity thing, that we solve a specific problem, and as a byproduct, we have to have an identity system. And probably the user don't even have to know they are dealing with a thing called DID or a decentralized identifier. They can just seamlessly use the product they need, and at the same time, their DID, their all the registration, everything has already been set up. So that's probably to walk around for the how do you do the user education, how do you onboard the user to make them understand the value proposition of privacy and everything, blah blah blah. So yeah, I do think there's likelihood it could happen in the future like this.
Oh, thank you guys so much for the question, for the answer. I guess I heard a lot of the keywords. Could be choice, or it's all about users' choices, because everything is just provided in front of you. You decide if you want to join this or not. Because there's a question asking you to connect with your some social accounts or something to gain some to get some tokens or to get some incentives, but it's all about your choices. I mean, users are easily they can decide, but the thing is, I don't think users are educated enough. They don't really know what is behind. If you connect your maybe Twitter account with your wallet address, they never knew. There's a disclaimer, there's a privacy policy, but users never know. If I connect my accounts with this wallet address, what's gonna happen? What is the risk now, and then what is the risk 10 years later? Because like a lot of users are just if I can get like $100 to make a living for a week versus like being versus like data leaks maybe in 10 years. Maybe someone just knew, hey, this guy, this like wallet address like with like tons of like valuable NFTs is associated with like this Twitter account. So and they are super vulnerable to being scammed in the future. I mean, people don't really know what is the actual risk behind it. I think I think like Hannah or sorry, I can't remember, but also like many of our speakers also mentioned about like user education. I think that's something that's really missing in nowadays, because users know what they can make a lot of get a lot of tokens, but they never know what is the true risk behind it. And I heard another like keyword called lowering the entry barrier of or mass adoption, as Vincent just said. Well, typically I think for now there's no maybe a StepN or I can't remember Access Infinity did a really good job onboarding new users, because a lot of their user base are probably just people that never knew about crypto before they joined as games or this new kind of way of doing exercises like StepN did. This kind of a mass adoption is great, but the users never knew what is inside of this app. They don't know, hey, there's a blockchain running behind it. They just knew, hey, if I run for 3 kilometers, I can get $100 back. I think this is also related to user education. Yeah, this is awkward, but yeah, people need to know what is really going on. Well, that's my opinion. So this is kind of a question I'm gonna ask you later. So yeah, be prepared. Because in my opinion, people need to know what's really going on before they can make any decision. Yeah, this is a question, but I'm just leave it's a pretty open question, and then I'm just going to leave the mic to you guys.
Just adding one quick response to what you just said about user education. I think there's one approach that we can take in terms of really going out there and evangelize on the importance of privacy, how you use the ID and all that stuff. And another part is I think I remember Kai was saying, and also Vitalik Buterin mentioned in the recent Bankless interview as well, the ID itself doesn't have to be a standalone product. It's the ID that the decentralized ID that it's affiliated to, the application itself needs to have additional user value. So I think, for example, using Ethereum wallets or some the wallets as a way to have more of alternative assets, etc. These are a more natural way for users to understand why they have a wallet, and then ID related to wallet could be more of a seamless onboarding process. So just a quick reaction to what you just said. I think there are maybe a few different approaches.
Oh, yeah, thanks. So yeah, to clarify, the question is actually, do you guys think users need to be educated in this world? So yeah.
Yeah.
Especially on DID and then all these complicated concepts. It's not just about DID. You can talk about ZKP, blockchain, wallets, C phrases, anything that's related. So yeah, who's gonna?
Yeah, so I guess my quick response to what you just said is they don't necessarily need to know the ins and out of it, and then depending on who, in terms of the stages of adoption and the segments that we're targeting. The early adopters probably know more about why decentralized identity or like even like just like in general like crypto is necessary. But like once we're hit to like the second stage, the kind of the more like mass adoption, maybe the level of understanding is weaker. But I think the bare minimum is like they should know like what a private key is, similar to like how you manage your current accounts. That's the bare minimum.
All right, thank you, Hannah. Yeah, so I just I just follow with your answer. So I do think that is not necessary for the user's education. They don't need to know what is the idea behind everything. They don't need to know how it works. But user will be getting into the space with some of the maybe blogger or maybe some YouTube videos guiding through the user, telling them that you can actually make money from that. You can actually get freebies. You can actually be more flexible, be more convenient about it. So user will be willing to try, and once they try it and they really got some improvement, the user will be willing to be more interested into figure out what is happening behind it. So I do think that is not necessary for the user's education, but let's hear about Vincent.
Yeah, sure. I would like to ask a quick question. How many of you guys can describe how does a plane fly in an aerodynamics accurate way? Nice, you got, yeah, so okay, I just need to know how many of you guys. So it seems like most of you guys in the room, you guys probably won't be able to describe it in a very technical way, right? Then why do you expect the same from the users, right? The users probably, like the first thing is they don't care. They don't care how does it work. Like they probably won't be even, you know, like even for me, I'm not a tech guy, right? So I know how to use a wallet, I know how to transfer money, I know how to even use a Tornado Cash in a way. But I have no idea how to really code it. I don't know how to really do Solidity or Rust myself, right? Because I don't have to. I'm a fucking VC. I'm not a coder, right? Yeah. So that's the point here. But I think the most important thing to a user that's really affected the decisions that they're going to make, whether I'm going to like or actually use this product. I mean, like, if I treat DID as a product for the long run, if I like it, I would use it. It's probably because there's some features or something, some value that it delivers that I cannot get elsewhere, right? This is the most important part. Let's just reiterate the second or the X Infinity idea back into the DID idea. How would it actually work? Right. So, for example, like Stepan, you register a Stepan account using your Gmail, right? Then that would be automatically connected to a wallet address. So basically, that wallet address at least connected with your email. Then SoQuest, right? Let's say you allow Stepan DID holders, right? Let's just treat it as a DID, which is actually just an account holder. On SoQuest, I'm another random, rug pulling NFT project, right? Or any any project, whatever. I want to do a marketing. I would like to bootstrap my traffic. So I put on a quest on SoQuest saying, okay, let's say if your Stepan account age is over 1 month, then I will give you a chance to do a rocket raffle with us. Whoever win, like the top 50 winners, are going to be my whitelisted, being whitelisted, right? So okay, so now this is a very good reason for you to join Stepan and use SoQuest, because why? I'm offering something that you can never get elsewhere, right? That's a very good reason for them to join. So see my point. If it squeaks as a duck, if that walks as a duck, then basically to the user, it is a duck. Right. So if it can deliver something I want, if that's based on my very basic understanding of decentralization or crypto, which is basically using a wallet and hit the connect wallet to enter, or at least you are legitimate kind of a wallet, then basically that qualifies you as a Web3 application. But anything beyond that, how technically it works, I don't really care. All I care about is really, it provides me with the extra value I cannot get elsewhere in Web3. So I believe in the superiority of the Web3 DID because of that.
Yeah, I was thinking the concept of this has been a little bit different recently. I do know some wallet developers, especially the AA wallet developers, are trying to use a different approach to onboard or to get their users through SDKs. Like the user really don't need to know what is the AA wallet, does this SDK do. They just make the partnership with game developers. And when game developers do want to acquire new users, the wallet is seamlessly integrated in the game without making to educate the user what is it about, how do you create your own identity, and what does the identity mean. So to me, I probably think the future of the roles will be separated in different person. For product developers, for product people, we only care about how to onboard a user easily with simple user experience, which means you should treat user as a monkey. They keep click around without making any mistakes. They shouldn't need to know any concepts or technical jargons in order to use the product. But as the builders in this industry, as a media, as the KOL, as the community, you have the responsibility, or it is your job to tell the user what's going on behind all these technical jargons. And that probably will push back the pressure back to the product builders to respect, because once the user understands what's going on, you can't treat them as a simple data storage and try to acquire their data silently by asking them to sign up certain privacy terms. So that probably should be separate, delegated into different roles, in my point of view. Yeah.
Anyone wants to?
Okay. I think following from Kai's last answer about identity as a byproduct instead of a real product, I think that's super valuable because as many of our speakers said, they probably just are talking about how identity or DID serves as a infrastructure instead of a real product in this industry, because you never use a DID management tool where just use DID as a real product. So you don't have an app, put up an app and then just manage your DID. Just use your DID or you use your ID. You represent yourself with these identities where these numbers random bytes. So I guess it's super important to make sure that the DID, the development of DID is moving towards how we can onboard more users into this world, SEPAN or Infinity and Axie Infinity did, where at the same time we need to make sure they knew what's really going on. Well, not what's really going on, but the important aspects of this new concept. Because DID, as we talk about a lot, DID has its great gains, but also great they got pros and cons. So we really need to make sure while these users are enjoying this new concepts, this new era of identity, they knew what is what's the risk behind it. And I'm also super interested because many of you guys are, well, we have a VC here, but it doesn't matter because VC sees a lot of kids. They fund help a lot of projects. I'm super interested. What if you're gonna pick one thing or one project or two or one aspect or two? What would you pick if you're building a DID infrastructure, or if you are building an app that's targeting at mass adoption of a new blockchain with Web3 features? What is the most essential thing that you think that you're gonna do to in this whole identity or DID field? Or if you're really building one, what do you think is the most exciting thing to share?
I think start from this time. So for me personally, I didn't choose to build on decentralized identity. Decentralized identity choose me. It's kind of cliche to say. Yeah, I was about to say I was the chosen one. Yeah. All right, just kidding. Well, in 2020, actually, I've been doing a lot of trading because of the DeFi, and it was crazy, right? So I met a guy I know a guy who know a guy who is building some tooling stuff, and this guy, from the guy I know, he is actually pretty lousy. He don't talk much. He need a guy to talk. So he is the tech guy. He used to build a Bitcoin mining pool, which is pretty successful back in 2016. So we talked online, didn't meet each other, and he decided to acquire me. So later on, we just trade a lot, and we just built that stuff and just put it there, and we still trading. And he is also, we didn't take it seriously because yeah, I didn't think it's gonna work. But later on, the server bill is like a lot because I used my credit card for it. So I went to talk with him. I said, Anthony, have you ever think that this could be our project, our first ever project? And he is like, oh, I just built it for users to use. So that thing is actually it's a community bot. We call it a DAO tool that is support Telegram and Discord. And if I don't know Vincent, if I don't know Isi, I still can airdrop to you guys because our tool is going to provide you a wallet address that is not belong to you before, but after it generated, it's going to follow your Telegram ID or your Discord handle, and you can send a DM to the bot for the claim and for like withdraw or something deposit. So this tool, we got a user base like 3.5 million. And I went to talk with my VC friend, and he said, well, have you ever thought about doing some analytics? So yeah, we had another guy who is building the natural language processing. Yeah, I know a guy who know a guy, right? So this is the story. So we just make it up together, and this is why that we are doing both quests. We have the community tool, we have the analytic, we have the NFT minting, we have a lot of stuff. So actually, I didn't want it to be this complicated, but it's just like that. So if I would choose, I probably don't know, man. I don't know what should I choose, but right now I'm in a decentralized identity and I kind of like it. So we are planning to provide the NFT to users as the container that is non-transferable, as a container to the user's profiling. In nowadays world, it's called the what is that? Soulbound token. Yeah, Soulbound token. So this is our next step, and later on there's something even more about DeFi, about lending, because we're providing the profiling for the user, so they can provide, they can have the better experiences, and we're going to maybe aggregate something else, who knows. But yeah, choosing the decentralized identity is how got me here, so it's kind of appreciated. Hannah?
I feel like everyone's moderating today. It's great. It kind of looks like he wants to say something, but I'll make it quick. I'll make it quick. So I think in terms of picking one building block within the identity space to build on, like I would like to think about it from a result-driven perspective, because a lot of us talk about what really, like how can identity be really useful? Like it's useful because you're using ID for communication, you're using ID for accessing services, and the beauty of like decentralized identity is allows for like many-to-many like binding relations of your Web2 identities, Web3 like wallet addresses. So I would say like if I were to pick what's like an essential element of DID to build out, and that's what we're continuing to like flash out at NextID, is allowing like users to be able to connect more and more of their like different identities across platforms to address the siloed identity issue that we see in Web 2. So that with this like more of a multi-layered identity that users have, you can have like, for example, cross-platform chat or transactions, like new applications that cannot be realized through the current scheme. And that's where I see like, for any sort of identity product, it truly has utility. So I would say like building down the line of thinking about how your identity services can be used for better applications, for better user experience, or addressing problems that are not currently being addressed through a single sign-on product from a centralized player. That would be something that we can think about. Yeah.
Okay, my turn. So in terms of the identity thing, a lot of them mentioned the possibility of a social as the biggest thing to onboarding the next billion users, blah, blah, blah. So actually, the identity itself is about how to describe a person, either profile or anything. There's another aspect of social. Basically, social is the most two important parts of social. Is first, identify yourself, who you are. Second is help you finding people. So a lot of good ideas, I think, popping up in the area of how help you find people. I think a couple months ago, I heard a guy told me about an idea of how you can utilize POAP as a Tinder by finding people who attend similar events with you, right? So the whole idea of finding people is finding common connections. Either you attend similar events virtually or physically, or you have common interests, or you have been to the similar place, things like that. I do like to study the history of the whole internet thing. Back before we have Web3, we have Web2. The first successful social network is actually called Foursquare, which is in 2007, Steve Jobs launched the iPhone, and in 2009, in South by Southeast, this guy first published his new app called Foursquare, where with the new infrastructure of this new device called iPhone, you can utilize your GPS location as a data point. So before that, it's hard to have people really come to the digital world, either it's a mobile internet or PC internet. It's hard to have ordinary people come to the digital world because they don't know what to say. They have they have no input. But now, utilizing the new infrastructure, you can simply just by using your GPS location, tell them checking data that I am here. By giving this information, this is a connection to help you find other people who also did the checking here. So POAP did something similar, right? You think about the analogy. Given the new infrastructure called the blockchain, you are able to generate data on-chain by creating an NFT badge that states where you have been or what kind of activity you have been there. And from that, people probably can build common connections on top of that. But I don't know if there's anybody else doing something similar, but that's quite inspiring for me to think about what's the next step once everybody have their social profile set up. How do they really start the social connections? Probably you need something like that. Yeah.
Because I'm the only VC here, so I'm not technically qualified to answer this question though. But because I think all of you guys mentioned are actually pretty great. I would like if a number one priority, I would definitely go for building the interoperability and the interconnection capability issue here. One VID can be connected to multiple different platforms, and so you have the ability to be operated across different platforms. That's definitely number one priority. But since you guys already mentioned that, I would propose two very different aspects. One of them is from a personal aspect. I personally have over 100 active addresses. Yeah, just for myself. The very big reason is that I'm a super kind of a privacy maniac person. So I really hate being traced in any way. So I'm like, if I buy one entity, I would set up a new address just for that purpose. And I would get a random KYC under another name, centralized exchange to send me 1 Ethereum as a gas fee. So I'm like, is there a way for such a anti-on-chain social person like me to put on a cloak that can actually hide my trace. This is one of the features. I don't think that many people actually thought about that, but I guess some of the teams are doing that somewhere in the world. But anyway, that's one of the things I can imagine. The second thing would be the data availability issue. So if you guys ever developed any social-fi project using Twitter or any APIs, you would definitely know that API actually have a limit, right? No matter if you are Link3 or Quest3 or those, we believe that they are already very big in the crypto world, in the Web3 world, but actually based on the API pull request number, they are still very, very small. Some of them, like a Twitter widget would do way more, 10 times or 20 times more than that in pull requests every single day, right? So what would happen if you actually get to that critical point, the singularity point, that you are big, even to Twitter, right? The entire your business is based on that single Twitter dev account, single API limit. What if you got banned by Twitter? What if Elon Musk doesn't like you, right? They probably have this data availability issue. So it's probably a good idea for someone to start making the data oracle, but just for the static static Web2 social data or any kind of static data, not in the same way as in Chainlink.
That's a great summary, because one of the reasons why we're gathering today here, really want more users to get to know about this new concept, this new technology. We believe either it's DID is I don't know, it's more like a buzzword now, but DID or SSI or cryptographic identity or blockchain wallets addresses, or your Facebook accounts or Twitter accounts, but they're all concepts. We really want more users or more people like you guys to know this new thing, and then if you guys are interested, we have different speakers from different companies, different projects, different the aspects we want to do. If you want to contribute, this could be the best place to get started. And I believe, because I think I'm gonna wrap it up. It's we were supposed to end to have 1 hour panel, so it's already 1 hour. I would just probably just invite our speakers to conclude for in a sentence or two. If you it could be your take on identity, your take on privacy, your take on security, your take on new technologies like blockchain and new Web3 tool sets, or your take on I don't know, anything that you like.
Okay. I'd like to share an interesting analogy actually I recently read, which is Vitalik wrote back, I don't know, some 5-6 years ago. There's this thing called Esperanto, which is the constructed international language, which is super easy to learn, has simple grammar, and the grammar is a lot of word derivatives. You put prefix and suffix into one word, and it can mean many different things, so you can communicate effectively with smaller set of vocabulary. If that successfully designed language become popular and most of people learn that as a secondary language, all of the world should be able to communicate seamlessly, and that would be the path towards peace. But the actual number is the number of users of Esperanto is something like tens of thousands, which means it's a boarding roadmap basically wait nowhere. Even it has these simple simplicity and beautifully designed technical properties, but yeah, it doesn't work. Instead, English, it has took its super dominance, especially post World War II, when every major country in the world has got into ruins, only except that the US and it becomes super popular. Looks like no one would be able to change that status. So that's the analogy one. Analogy two is Linux. Well, Linux is somehow popular among developers, but for desktop, it's a super failure. It's hard UX, it's hard to install, and you require a lot of technique details in order to use it, to configure it. But it's quite popular in the backend, where all the Android has a Linux kernel, from your Mac OS has a Linux kernel, and it's, most of the servers run Linux. And as a developer, you have to know one or two Linux commands. And that's popular in some sense, but it never, there's this permanent dream that Linux as the open source operating system takes over, but it never happened. So that's analogy number two. That's analogy in between, right? The third analogy is internet, which takes over everything. So we don't know for DID or for the blockchain where it will end. Probably it's become something like Linux in developed countries, since they have already established the centralized tools to use. Probably in some developing countries, it's more ubiquitous since they don't have anything to use anyway. But I really would like that happen. The next wave of technical innovation is built around the infrastructure of crypto or of DID. But if it doesn't happen, at least we be something like Linux. We help in some certain fields, and everybody else just use their always existing tools. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I would just like to be very short. So I believe that DID and privacy is definitely one like a crypto native killer idea that's definitely have a very good chance in the future. But actually, I would say like it would definitely take a lot of humbleness of non-crypto native thinking, and also the patience of putting boots on the ground user education to actually make it happen.
All right. It's actually for me. I'm thinking that decentralized identity is like a component for the future use, where the user can be able to connect to. Still keep their footprints no matter what kind of dApps that they are using. So they can still keep their tracks of everything, whatever they have done before, what are the contributions they have done. This is something that benefits for the users, and it's like a future infrastructure to me. So this is what's my take on the decentralized identity.
Thank you. And I think in terms of our speaking from like a micro point of view, like for NextID, our priority for 2023 is really thinking about how we can build a more robust developer and application ecosystem, like on top of the protocol, to make our services actually valuable. So I'd say for decentralized identity or any kind of these infrastructure type of solutions, what's really critical for us is to really go back to the kind of the user problems that we're trying to solve, and be able to to think about what are the applications and the necessary building blocks that are required from the infrastructure layer to deliver that. So I'm personally really excited to brainstorm with our team and with builders in this space to think about applications that can truly unleash the potential of decentralized identities.
Thanks so much for these conclusions. Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. As Hannah said, we want to build stuff. We want to build tools or applications for the users. So anything that's necessary for a user to get on board into this world or get a better experience, we're here to help. So this also represents a lot of other Web3 or blockchain developers in the field. So we're developers, but also users. So we want to help us and help you guys. So if you guys have anything that want to share, that want to contribute, feel free to join us, because this is a more an open world that welcomes everybody to come. It's not like a centralized world that's shutting the door that closed. You don't have a right, you don't have anything to to really be the owner of this product.
But here, like in Web3, in this like blockchain, in this new, I don't know, like new era, we are both like users, but also developers. So I believe this is going to be an amazing year to especially we have like covered like in the past 3 years. So we're super excited. We're looking forward to this new year to do more things for the users. And then thank you so much for coming today. It means a lot to us. We didn't expect that many people. Like seriously, I was like, oh wow, we're gonna get 20 or 10 people. But yeah, there's so many people to came and are curious about and then hear about this question. And we're so glad you guys came. And feel free to social around. And we're like everybody because like we also have a lot of like blockchains. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, we do have a lot of like blockchain. Like we do have like VCs and like users and then like project owners here. So if you are interested, just feel free to like walk around and talk to them. And if you do have like questions, feel free to ask. I think we have do have some time. So yeah.
Yeah, for people who ask questions, we'll give out a tote as a gift. And also talking about collabs, there are special collabs for this particular event. We'll send the link in the chat, so scan yourself into the Telegram group. We'll probably get the QR code up here as well. Just housekeeping stuff. But yeah, questions?
Yeah. Thank you for the great session again. Actually, I do recently seen more people talking about the account abstraction that the coming of EIP 4337 on Ethereum. So, they would say it will improve a lot of user experience and also create quite a huge impact on the identity sphere within the ecosystem. Just want to know what the panel takes on that. Any comments on that? Yeah, so recently I saw a lot of more people have been talking about the account abstraction, the upcoming EIP 4337, and how much impact it can make on in terms of like user experience in general, and kind of want to know if any of the panels have any take on that regarding it could make quite a huge impact on the identity as well.
So we're talking about like EIP 4337 or okay. So it's a smart contract wallet, right? Yeah, account abstraction. So yeah, do you have like anything that wants to comment on this, like new like smart contract wallet that you can better onboard new users or something like that?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, ever since I think it's not only that. Ever since the DevCon involved that, lots of new projects like Soul Wallet and a lot of new projects comes up about especially focusing on that. The possibility it opens up is to increase, hopefully significantly increase the usability and to lower the entry barrier for other new users, right? If now you don't need to care about all the speed freeze, all the stuff, and it can also maintain the security by maybe social recovery, maybe something features like that. It opens up new possibility for wallet users, and I think, but it's still there's still a lot of work to do. But I think the good news is currently most builders right now have the agreement. Even MetaMask themselves have to come to the agreement that the usability of current wallets, especially the e-wallet, really need to be improved either by ourselves or by some new wallet. So yeah, I hopefully we will see some change coming.
All right. I know a lot of people want to talk to you. So yeah, if you have questions, feel free to come around. And if not,
Thank you for the spectacular panel. I have a question. So when we talk about decentralized identity, I was wondering like how do you guys see the CBL attack? I know some people saying they should use like a human biological identifier to prevent those like attacks. What do you think about it?
For me, well, let me answer this. For me, I'm thinking that the actually attack is unavoidable, but it's just do you have the preparation for this kind of stuff? Also, I mean, with the tag, you always have a backup plan. Like before I work for Exchange, we have two sets of server. Or if you have a smart contract, you roll a smart contract, you better to have like a credibility from the auditing. But I mean, it's unavoidable. It's just the matter is how do you solve it. Like this year, last year I made a lot of profit from the hack, from the Nomad and from Akala. So it's also depending on does your investor they have the credibility enough. So if I got hacked, does Jump Crypto is going to save me, or someone else, maybe Simon over here, or I don't know. I mean, it's not avoidable. It's just a matter how to be prevented. The hack is everywhere. I mean, today I have a friend who wanted to exchange the currency to Thai baht, and he got an address from a Telegram group. But when he pasted, it actually became another address. So we find the thing is actually he downloaded the software from somewhere else, not from the app store. So this is how he made it. So anything can be risky. This is my take on that.
Yeah, actually, I think the whole battle in the privacy area is continuously fighting for us. So on this side, you can create more private serving solutions, which makes people attack easier. But on the other side, there are other projects working on the force to do wallet address aggregation. Their rule engine trying to calculate these different types of address that somehow linked together. Maybe they have something delegated from one main account, and somehow these, by their rules, they calculate that these accounts should be aggregated together as one identity and things like that. So these two forces are continuously evolving. I think we will see change coming in this field. But yeah, the attack itself, the form of the attack probably changed, but there's always malicious people of various new forms to be aware of.
So do you have any other questions? Oh yeah.
Okay, so first of all, Happy New Year. Actually, I'm not relevant to this field. I work in biosensors, and this field is totally irrelevant to me. But I'm a newbie to crypto and these things. But pardon me if you don't understand my question. But I mean, yeah. So actually, what I'm trying to ask is like, so there are different companies that come up with different conditions initially, but as you said that, for example, Facebook or some other apps that are being used by so many users today. So there was, I mean, their terms and conditions was completely different back in 2004 or 5, right? But today they can capture, they can access your microphone, they can access your camera, they can access your so many other things, right? So the question is that if there is new apps nowadays that I mean that offers something that they are not tracking your microphone or camera, so how could they maintain this? I mean, initially they come up with this idea that their app is more secure, but later on, when more users come in and join them, their terms and conditions change. So what's your views on this? I mean, I would really like to hear something from you guys about it.
I want to answer this question. It's kind of my kind of situation. So you can see Port3 has a lot of product. One of them, the recent killer app, if I may, we have the weekly active user of 36,000, and we're not charging anything from anybody. And if user wanted to mint an NFT, like a project wanted to provide an NFT, we're even paying for the gas. So we're actually losing money on it. But how do we maintain it? How do we keep it up? Because we have some other stuff who is, when you use it, you need to pay. So I'm thinking that every project, every application, they will have a revenue model that you might know or you might not know, but definitely there is a revenue model. Or the revenue model is going to happen later on, but I mean, there's still going to be something like, it's not going to be running out for free, like out of love, something like that. It must be something.
Yeah, so, and another thing is, so this is actually something involving the authorization, right? Like for crypto, basically this is a very big issue. Many of the hacks is actually like, so they ask for like excessive kind of like authorizations from the wallet owners, and that would later become a problem. And this is basically an inherent kind of problem from the native structure of the blockchain. Either you are like EVM blockchains or like a move-based kind of blockchains. They both have this kind of situations. So for now, the solution is kind of like you have like approval revoking kind of toolings. But I would say this is kind of like a very embedded to the fundamental kind of like the structural kind of issues of the blockchains. So I would expect those two things. First is that so we need like more like a user education to people. So what may like actually raise like a red flag, and when you see this, and probably it's not a good idea to really authorize that. And the second thing is we hopefully like for the security firms they would come out with some like a pretty innovative kind of approach to mitigate this kind of risk.
I think we're probably this time out. So yeah, just feel free to like hang out and just talk to us. And we're going to help to like answer your questions. And then thank you so much for all of you guys for coming today. And then yeah, we'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, join our Telegram group, and then we will have like the whole app ready. So yeah. Yeah, okay, that'll be all today. Thank you. Thank you guys.
我要把这个赶紧关了吧。
一个关不掉，一个打不开。你好帅！
哦不，别，
你在直播是吧
？Attending Identity Meetup.
Wow, how shy.
Take a group photo together. What a memorial night.
Group
Come
photo?
on, friends.
Yes.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Let's
It's a
take
thing.
a group photo together.
你就
Don't worry about it.
You look super good in the video.
Live streaming.
Yeah, it's all live streaming.
Yeah.
这还在 streaming 到哪里呢
YouTube.
If we help like move aside the chairs, we can do the group photo here.
啊？什么？
In the back.
牛逼啊！这么多。